Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, GM Fantasy. My name is Paul. I figured I'd dive into the YouTube realm, creating some content specifically for contract leagues. I've noticed that there's not much on it on YouTube, and I'm curious to as why, because it's such a fun format, and if no one wants to do it, I will. So in this video, I'll touch on a few things there, like let's say the differences between a dynasty and a contract league, as a dynasty would be the closest thing to it, and maybe I'll be able to persuade or inspire you guys to start one of these leagues on your own. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what I'll do is I'll touch a little bit on all these points in this video, and I think I'll make this like maybe like a three-part series, and in the other videos I'll get more in depth and more details to certain aspects, and this one will just be a general overview. So I'll talk about why you should consider to start one or to switch to a contract instead of dynasty. What is a contract league? What types of contract leagues are out there? How does a contract league work? How to start or switch to a contract format? Which platforms are available to use, the differences, like I said, between a contract and dynasty, since that's the most similar, and I'll maybe touch a bit about on the rules and scoring, particularly in my league, just so you get an idea of how it works. So why you should start or switch into a contract format. If you guys are really big into fantasy, like it's one of your passions, and you got a group of guys that are just you guys are really into it, then this would be next level. It's you're essentially a GM in a contract league, so there's a lot of things you're gonna have to consider and worry about that you wouldn't necessarily do in a dynasty format. So it's gonna make the league far more engaging. Owners will be more in tune to what's going on in the league, just to get an advantage or to see the future coming, to see what maybe the best moves will be to do in the future. If you guys are really into trading, then hey, this is the league for you guys. Like contract leagues, the trading I would say is like 3, maybe even 4 times more compared to a dynasty, and that's just because the contracts force you to do so. And so it just makes it very exciting, which I like. And in turn, it changes your strategy. Like I said before, you're a GM, right? So like you have to make decisions on how long are you going to sign these guys for, how much are you going to sign them for. You're gonna have to think a couple years ahead. It's not as year by year as a dynasty. So it's going to be a different strategy you guys are going to go through, and after you play it in, let's say, 1 or 2 years, you're going to see the differences for sure. And another, I'd say, one of the big pros to a contract league would be the quick turnarounds. So like a lot of times in dynasty leagues, you'll see that certain owners will trade away their future, all their draft picks, or they just have a bad draft to begin with, or they just make bad trades, and everyone knows that their team is going to be trash for the next 3-4 years, and instead of trying to fix it, they just end up leaving, and it creates orphans, and no one likes to deal with orphans. Not that it's impossible to find someone to replace it, it's a pain. Like it's not something you want to have to deal with. And with a contract league, just in 1 or 2 years, it's a quick turnaround. You make a couple good draft picks. The free agencies will really change things. You can make some good pickups in the free agency, and you're right back in and competing with the rest of them. So, and that's why over here, like I'll say, there's less orphans in a contract league. So if you have a problem with orphans in your league, this is one of the main reasons why you would switch. It'll create less orphans. So, what is a contract league? Obviously, it involves contracts. In Dynasty, it's you're gonna have you draft a player, and then you have his rights until you decide otherwise. You can either cut him or trade him. In contracts, it's you'll have him up to a certain point, and then he becomes a free agent. And then you're gonna have to re-sign him. And guess what? I'm sure your league mates are gonna have something to say about that, and not make it as easy. So it's just something you have to consider. The strategy will change. What kind of term do you want to give him? So it keeps it fresh every year too, because now you got like an auction, like a mini auction draft, I guess you could say, every year. So it keeps things fresh, keeps things spicy. and it's more engaging. So in my league here, we have what we call restricted free agents, or we call them RFA 1s and RFA 2s. We got 2 tiers of restricted free agents, and I'll go into it a little more later in the video. I'll explain it a bit better, which will also tie into the stealing and compensation. So for like a restricted free agent, if I put a tender on a player and another owner really wants that player and offers a better contract, and I think it may be too rich for me to match, then I'll let the player go, but I'll be compensated for it. So it's there's another wrinkle there to consider. And then every year you're gonna have a rookie draft for the new rookies coming in. It's just a regular draft like it would be in the NFL. So if you're the 101, you're going to be the 201, you're going to be the 301, just like that. It's not a snake draft, it's just a regular draft. And the rookie contracts are already set. That's one of the only things that are set, which is nice. So there's nothing to really worry about. It's set rookie contracts, and then when they become RFAs and then UFAs in the future, that's when the bidding will start on them. And then over here we got for dead money contracts. Well, it's not really dead money contracts, it's just dead money. If you ever end up having to cut a player, like let's say you sign a player for, I don't know, $40 for 5 years, and then after two or 3 years he's not doing it for you anymore and you want to cut him, well, if you cut him, you're going to have to give up. In my league anyway, it's 50%. So you're going to think twice about doing that, because having dead money for $20, which would be a decent chunk of your salary cap, for the next 2-3 years, it's quite the burden on your team. Sometimes it's necessary, like it's the right move to do, but it's something you'll think twice about and you're going to try to avoid. Now over here we got types of contract leagues. So there's a few different styles out there that I've seen. Here we got like set contracts. I think I've only done one of these before, where it's just set contracts, like the algorithm, or like not the algorithm, but like there's a sheet that defines what the contracts will be. And like I know there was one I saw there where it's like a voting system on how the contracts are set. I'm sure it's fine in its own right. It's not my preferred style. I like the auction style bidding. That one I think is like the supreme version, because your league sets the value of the players. You guys are bidding, so I find it's an accurate. Like the value of the players is accurate because the league sets it. So I think it's pretty cool. The individual defensive player, that's not unique to contract leagues by any means. You could do this in any format, redraft or dynasty. It's cool if you want to add it to a contract league. I've seen a couple of different versions of it where the offense and defense is all on the same salary cap, same rookie drafts and all that. Or I have seen some, which I think would be the better one, where you have an offensive salary cap and a defensive salary cap, and that you have your own individual rookie drafts for both the offense and defense. If you're able to find a bunch of guys that would be interested in doing an IDP league, that's I highly recommend. It's a lot of fun. And then also you'll see that there's a lot of unique settings and rules for these leagues. Every league has their own things going for it, so it's you'll have to see what that particular league has, but you'll notice that it's way different than your standard leagues. So how to start or switch to a contract league? Well, if you want to start up, obviously the easiest way is just to start up auction. You can do the single nomination, like a regular auction draft, where someone nominates a player and everyone bids until that player's been bought. Or you can do the way I do it in our league, which I think is the superior method, which is a full-blown open free agency bidding system where any player can be nominated at any time, multiple players being nominated at the same time, and you have a 48-hour timer for another owner to make another bid on that player. And if, let's say, 48 hours goes and there's no more bidding, then you're awarded that player. So I'll show an example of that a little bit later in the video. I think it's the best way to go. And then obviously you have the set contracts. You can just set contracts to certain players. Like maybe like your first round pick has a set contract, your second round pick has a set contract. It'll set the amounts and the term. You could stagger it so it's not just all in 1 year, and then in 4 or 5 years it all resets again, so it's staggered. You can do it that way, obviously. And so then there's the platforms and the tools. Unfortunately, your regular platforms don't really support contract leagues like Sleeper or ESPN or NFL. The only platform I've actually seen that has contract leagues in depth is I believe it's called Tycoon, and I haven't used it yet, but I looked into it a little bit, and it actually looks pretty interesting. Like I'd actually be willing to give that one a go. Maybe if a bunch of subscribers want to start a league on that, we can get one going, and I'd be really into doing that actually. And so the one I use right now currently for my contract leagues is My Fantasy League, or MFL. And the only reason I really use that platform is because they have something called a message board. And the message board is absolutely perfect for the bidding system that we use, because it has timestamps. So it's black and white. You see when a player was bid on, and so there's no bickering of, oh, I bid that amount at this time. No, it's there. It's black and white. After 48 hours, you've got the player. There's no bickering. And we use also Google Sheets in conjunction with MFL, just to keep track of everything for on a year-to-year basis. A lot of some people say, "Oh, that's a lot of work." It really isn't. It's one extra step. It's honestly, it's really easy. You just keep track of trades and transactions on there. You can see your team as the future, like in future years, what it would look like, especially with the salary cap implications. So it's anyway, we've been doing it for years, and honestly, we've had zero problems with it. So it's really not that complicated, and I highly recommend it, considering that there's not really any platforms that support contract or salary cap leagues like properly. So differences between contracts and dynasty. Obviously, contracts, and went over this before. Like instead of just having the rights to a player, you're gonna have contracts. They'll eventually become UFAs. The trading becomes a lot more intense, and the mentality is different. Like you're a GM, so you're gonna have to take into consideration what real GMs take into consideration. Like is this player gonna be good in 5 years? Is he gonna fall off? Well, maybe I should only sign him for 3 years. Well, maybe my league mates won't let me. They're gonna go bid higher, and you're gonna have to abandon the bidding and go for someone else. So the strategy changes quite a bit, and the mentality is quite different from a dynasty format. And after 1 or 2 years of playing this, you're going to see, and you're going to realize what a rush it gives you. I just find it so much better. So the long-term benefits, I think I touched on it a bit before. It's less orphans. It's just a better format to keep the league intact. So if you're worried about joining a dynasty league because, oh man, it's just gonna fold in a few years, don't worry about a contract league. We've had one of the contract leagues I've been in. It's been running for I think the original guys were saying like over 30 years now. So it's this league hasn't died. It's been 30 years. It's pretty intense. And then another league that I'm in, we started it like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's still going, and I don't see it folding anytime soon. So, and then, you got the tough decisions that kind of goes into the mentality of it, and the trades and the contracts. You're going to be making tough decisions because your league mates will not make it easy on you. The actual NFL situation will not make things easy on you. And it's just, you're going to see what being a real GM is all about. And that's what makes this type of league exciting, and just, like I said, next level. So finally, we got some rules in scoring. So you're going to see that every league has some unique rules. Like I've seen some with like franchise tags, or there's not much that I think off the top of the head there, but I've seen some pretty interesting stuff. They're not good or bad, but just interesting, and you can decide which ones you want to implement or not implement. Scoring, it's more or less the same compared to Dynasty. I know in our league we try to mimic the NFL as much as possible. So quarterbacks are king, and we try to make it that way. So what we did was we added scoring for every quarterback's completion is 0.5 points. So your pocket passers, man, when they complete 20 to 30 passes a game, it puts them on par with the rushing quarterbacks. And not that the rushing quarterbacks all of a sudden become useless. They're still super powerful, like going for 100 yards rushing with a touchdown, and then also like throwing for 300 yards and a couple more touchdowns. It'll break the week for you for sure for scoring. Like Lamar Jackson's still Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen is still Josh Allen. They're the elites, and they're going to score the most points. So, and then with the roster size and limits, I find with contract leagues, it's similar to Dynasty, obviously, but with something we call compliance. This might be unique to this league there, but what we do is in our league we start 2 running backs, 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers, and 1 tight end. And for compliance, we have to have an additional player per position group. That has to be on the league. So you have to have 3 quarterbacks on your roster. You have to have 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. We also have a wide receiver tight end flex spot that we for our starting lineup, and kicker and a defense as well. So you're gonna have to have 2 of those of each, with an additional 5 bench spots. And you'll see that cutting players is something that people try to avoid because of the penalties involved. And maybe also go over some of the rules, and sometimes we'll have penalties for people that have broken the rules in the past, and maybe I'll go over a situation or 2. So all right, so I'll show you maybe a couple of my my teams here. Over here we got this one. This is the one that's been going on forever there for like 30 years. I actually won it all last year, so I was really happy about that. This isn't what my team looked like completely. We've already taken out the UFAs. So like I had Barkley, I had CMC last year, I had Mike Evans, I had a couple other players as well. So it was a really stacked team. So it was just was really good. And over here, so I'll go over like how the color coding system we have here. So you have my little legend here and what it is. So the veteran quarterbacks are the teams that were out of free agency, you could say. So I got Tua. So now 2024 is over. We're at 2025. So I got Tua for the next 3 years at $20, and then 2028 he becomes a UFA. So maybe in 2027 I'll try to trade him. We'll see the situation of my team at that point. And then over here we got rookie contracts. We got Bo Nix. Last year he was $3. Now he's going to be $5. So he's going to be an intricate part of my team. Good value. He's going to be cheap, and he'll virtually be starting on my team every week. The way I'll go over how the rookie contracts works. First round picks are 2-year contracts. So as you can see, the first year was $3, and then it'll be $5 for the second year, and then it becomes an RFA 1 and an RFA 2. Second round picks all the way down to 6th round picks are 3-year contracts. Second round picks, it'll be $1, $3, $5, then RFAs. Third round picks will be $1, $2, $3 RFAs, and then from 4th to 6th, it's going to be $1, $1, $1, then RFAs. And then once they become an RFA, RFA 1s, these are 1-year contracts. So we have different tenders we can put on them. So it starts at 30, then 20, 15, 10, 5, and 1. So right here, as you can see, I got Stroud at $15 as a tender. So we haven't done the RFA period yet, but this is what I'm most likely going to put him at. So $15. So if another team, another owner really likes Stroud and wants him and offers him a better contract, let's say $25 for the year, I have the opportunity to match. So if I match it, I have to put him at 25 because someone else put an offer sheet on him of $25. And if I decide, oh no, that's too much money, I'd rather pivot and do something else, I'll let him go. Well, I'll get compensation because I put a tender on him. So at $15, the tender I believe was one first round pick, a second round pick, and a third round pick. So you'll see that RFA 1s, there's not too much stealing going on, just because that's a pretty hefty penalty to pay to acquire a player. So it still happens. Don't get me wrong. There's some people that really like a player and they'll go after them, and pay up that type of penalty to get them. So and then after that you'll have RFA 2s, and RFA 2s it's you're offering them full contracts, so you can go up to 5 years in our league. So let's say I offer CJ Stroud $20 for 5 years. All right. So and the way RFA for compensation works is the value of the contract. So $20 for 5 years is $100. So I believe $100 was just a first round pick. RFA 2 compensation is less than the RFA 1. So RFA 2 would have been, so if someone were to bet, let's say $30 for 5 years on Stroud, and I thought that was too rich, okay, I'll let him go, and I'll get a first round pick as compensation for him, and then the other player gets Stroud for $30 for 5 years. So that's how the RFAs work. And then over here, you can see like over here I got Jameer Gibbs. Oh yeah, 30. Just a little side note there. 30 is like a no steal. It's the highest tender you can give for an RFA one. So I don't want any chance of someone offering him 40 to try to steal him from me. So I put him at 30. No other owner can make an offer. He's going to be mine for 30 next year, and then I'll deal with him as an RFA 2 the year after that. And then over here we got Shakir at $5. That'll be 2 third-round picks for compensation if someone steals him. If had I put it at 10, it would have been 2 second-round picks. So as you can see, like RFA ones, there's not much stealing just because it's expensive to steal. And the $1, it's just the opportunity to match. So there's no compensation if someone steals from a $1. So if someone offered him 5, and I'm like, I'm not signing him for $5. I'll let him go. I don't get anything. I just have the option to just match it at 5. Okay, over here. So in this league, the salary cap, I forgot to mention that, is $255, I believe. I don't know why that number is that number. It was just, that's what it was when I got in the league, so that's what it is. And over here you can see my penalty. So last year I had $3 in penalties because I cut some players, and it all added up to $3. As you can see, this year coming up, I already have a $1 penalty coming up. So I forgot who it was I dropped, but actually, no, I could check it right here. So so here we go. So I cut the Washington Commanders defense. It was a contract of $3 for 2 years. So like I said, it's 50%, and you round down. So because it's an even number, so it's 3, so it's $1. So $1 for 2024, and then $1 for 2025. So I'll have a $1 penalty. So my salary cap will be a maximum of $254 to start the year, and that's if I don't cut anyone else. So there's that. Over here we've got the rookie reserve roster or taxi squad. So we got 12 slots for that. What I like about this is it doesn't count towards your active roster. So all the salaries here, they don't count to your active roster. It's its own little thing. If you cut a rookie at any point, if he's on your rookie bench and you cut him, there's no penalty. So that's a nice little feature for that. And another thing we can do with the rookie reserve roster is if let's say we're hurting on our main lineup there, and we need a spot start, is what we'll call it, and we can promote a rookie for 1 game. So you can start him 1 game, and then after that you can demote him back, no worries. But the moment you start him for 2 games, then he has to remain on your active roster. So if you want to cut him, now you're going to have to pay a penalty for that. So, and then over here you can see I got a suspension list. We also got the injury reserve. Those are unlimited slots. Suspension, the way it works, if the player's suspended for the whole year, you can just leave him here and his contract follows for the years. If, let's say, he's only suspended for like 4 games, well, you can put him here, but on the 5th game when he comes back, he absolutely needs to come back up to your active roster, so you better make sure you have enough cap space for him, and also a slot for him on your bench. If not, you're going to have to make a cut to make sure that you're compliant. So you got another wrinkle to think about as a GM, right? And so over here we got a transaction log. This is just to track things as they go. Like I cut Donovan Peoples-Jones. It was $1 a 1-year contract, so there was no penalty for it. Here I made a trade over here. Here's a big trade that I made last year, actually. I traded Wilson, Ridley, Palmer, Puka, and all these draft picks to get Geno, Metcalf, Estime, and CMC. Over here you can see there's some conditions on the trade that we made. That's something you can do with what you do on Google Sheets. You can make conditions. You can't do that on any platforms because it's just way too complicated to track. But you can do it on Google Sheets. So that's another pro that I like about this trading is it's really cool to trade because there's so many factors involved. So over here, Val, another one of our league mates, he's going to hold $15 of CMC's contract. So he was at 35. Now he's only going to cost me 20 for the year. And over here you can see that there's a conditional pick that comes back to me. If CMC played 6 games, I'll get a third round pick back. And if he played 4 or 5 games or less, I'd get a second round pick back from the trade, which actually happened. He only played 3 or 4 games, so I ended up getting my second round pick back. So there's that. Yeah, just a few more little trades that I made here. I traded Higgins and Moore and Charbonnet away for Tyreek Hill. I needed a wide receiver. I had injuries. I got Shakir as well. A lot of these trades, in hindsight, I probably didn't have to make them, but at the time I was fighting for a playoff spot, and you need to make moves, and that's what these contracts they force you to make moves. So there's that. Okay, so that's one of my teams there. I'll show you another team really quickly. Here's another one. This is the one where I started with a bunch of buddies, and we're I think year 5, going into year 4 now or 5. Yeah, year 4. So, and over here you can see that I've got all these players. Like, we're about to like almost reset in 2026, but now with all the RFAs from the rookies the last few years, it's gonna make it more settled, more balanced, I guess you can say. It's not gonna just be every 5 years is a new reset. It's gonna start to balance out now. The longer the league goes, the more settled it gets. So over here you can see I got a bunch of these quarterbacks. See, I got Russell Wilson again. I signed him when he had just signed with the Broncos. So at the time he was good, like he was one of the top quarterbacks in the league. That's why he's so expensive. Man, has that not turned out to be the case? And now he's just dead weight on my team. No one wants him, so I just have to deal with it. So it's something to consider. Like I got burned on that, signing him to a big contract for that long. So I got Henry. He'll be a UFA next year. Got a couple minor running backs on rookie deals. I got some RFA ones, that I'm putting some tenders on, got Pickens, just got traded to Dallas, Jaden Reed, Wilson, I got Marvin Harrison, Kincaid, Pitts. Pitts was an RFA 2 last year, so that's why I was able to sign him on a multi-year deal. I got Calvin Ridley again. And when I signed him, he was on the Falcons right after that breakout year, and I signed him to a huge contract, and man, did he burn me pretty good. Like he got suspended and just hasn't come back to form since. But you can't just drop him. He still has some value. So if I'm looking to trade him, we'll see if anyone's interested in taking him. Probably not. But if I can find a way to dump him, I definitely will. Over here, you can see I got no penalty coming up for the next few years, so that's nice. I'm in a nice position. Over here, I got some pretty good rookies on my bench, so I'm gonna be able to really play around this year. I think I might make a big push to try to win it all this year. I got like Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy, Roma Dunze, even Marvin Mims is startable. Jalen Wright, we'll see what he does this year. I got a couple of players I'll probably just cut because I got a new draft class coming in. I got some transaction logs here of the trades I've made. I could maybe show you. Also, here we go. So we got the draft order. So these are all the picks that are going. I got pick 4. I also have pick 8 from a trade I made. I got pick 208 here. And so there's different positions there. So that's going to be our draft. Here we got the RFA list. So these are all the players for everyone's teams that'll be RFAs. So we're gonna put tenders like I put them on them here. See, like Kyle Phillips, I'm not putting any offer on him because he's useless now. So. And then McPherson, I'll put like a 1 year, Wilson, Boom, Pickens, Palmer, $1 1 year. Maybe I'll change that because now he signed with Buffalo, so I think his value increased a little bit. So maybe I'll change that before the RFA period starts. And yeah, so that's just a little quick overview of that. And then I'll show you guys how it works on MFL for the bidding. This is what it looks like. So we'll have a message board for every position. And over here, so we'll start a bid. So let's say this is all me, just for an example. So I'll put, let's say, a random player, Rob Gronkowski. He was retired there, but whatever. The first guy I thought about. And so I did $5 3 years. And then next guy comes along. You know what? I'll do $5 4 years. So every additional year trumps a shorter term. So if someone did $5 5 years, it would beat the 5 for 4. Or what you can do is boom, 15 1 year. So you break it back down to 1 year, and the way it works is we have a formula to figure out which contract has a better value to overtake the other. So the way it works is you take the lowest tier, not lowest tier, but the lowest term. So over here got 1 year, $15. So the contract value is $15. So how does it beat this one? We'll compare it to this one right here. So this one over here is 3 years. So it's 1 year is the lowest term. So we'll go 1 year. 1 year is $5. So now there's 2 years left on this deal. How it works is you take half the value of the $5, so it would be 2.5 per year. So 2.5 plus 2.5 equals 5. So 5 plus 5 equals 10. So the value of this contract is 10. 15 is higher, so 15 wins. Now this one over here, so same concept. So $5 for the 1 year to match, so 15 to 5, and now you got 3 years. So it'd be $7.50 plus the 5, which would make 12.5. So 15 still is higher than 12.5. So I could have put $13 1 year and it would have beaten it. Had I put $12, nope, 5 out of 4 would have still been the higher value contract, and it would have been considered an illegal bid, and it wouldn't count. So, and look, another example here for, let's say, Kyle Pitts, did 3 for 4, and then did the 5 for 5, so obviously 5 for 5 is going to be greater than 3 for 4, but then, 5 for 5, I decided to go, no, I want to go back down to 3 years, so I'm going to do $7 for 3 years. So, we'll do the same formula again, 3 years, so 3 times 7, 21. So now we do 3 years on this one, times 5 is 15. There's 2 years, so it's 2.5 plus 2.5, which equals 5. So 15 plus 5 equals 20. So the value here is 20, this one's 21. So 21 wins, so 7 for 3 years is a higher value contract than 5 for 5. And that's how the bidding works for the free agency. So it's another little wrinkle that keeps it fresh and keeps it spicy. And it's honestly, guys, if you guys are really into fantasy, like, I really, really suggest getting into one of these type of leagues. It's so much fun. So I think I'll leave it like that for this video. If you guys could, please subscribe, give this video a like. Let's get this, put on the notifications, leave a comment. If you guys have questions or questions or comments you want to leave them in the comment section. Let's start a community. I would love to get into another league with some subscribers, and just get the contract league content going on YouTube as well. Like, if no one's gonna do it, I will. So I'll leave the video like that, and I'll come out with some more videos to get more in depth on how this leagues work, and then we can, if I get enough subscribers, we get another league going. I can do like a vlog on how the league goes. And I'll eventually start talking about Dynasty and Redraft as well, because let's be honest, those are the king formats, and definitely deserve some attention as well. But I think contracts are on the up and up, the salary type leagues, and I'm gonna be there for that. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.